Hi, welcome to Kremés podcast.
Podcast yang paling receh and garing, but maybe informative too, depending on the day.
I'm T.
And I'm A,
Semoga podcast ini bisa nemenin lo.
and hope you enjoy the episode.
Halo, Kremés podcast human beings. Welcome back to another amazing episode with myself, T, and my co-host, A. As you guys are very familiar, season ini kita have the luxury of having guests on our episode. Jadi kita kan bisa ngobrol ya dan dapat perspektif lain lagi karena kan kalian udah probably sick and tired of hearing me and A just ngobrol dan curhat dan talk about our opinions in our own way. But we're really keen to get other people and other people's stories and get them involved in this discussion as well. But as always, if you guys have any questions or any suggestions for future episodes or from our previous guests, please feel free to reach out to us. And who knows, right? We might have part 2 of bringing back some of our other guests as well. So without further ado, hari ini kita ada guest another special guest from my high school days, but what else is new? We have the lovely Hendi Wiraatmadja, who's dialing in from Jakarta ya, Hen? Anyways, please introduce yourselves, tell us about you, who you are, and your hopes and dreams. There we go.
Oh, wow. Perfect. Hello, guys. My name is Hendi. Hendi Wiraatmadja, as what T actually mentioned. We go all the way back in high school, and then somehow, out of nowhere, kita ketemu lagi di uni gitu. So I went to Perth as for my uni, specifically University of Western Australia, and I was actually taking Bachelor of Commerce. With a double major of marketing and management. So basically, that's that. And I am currently back in Jakarta, working full-time in an advertising agency. And yeah, my day-to-day, I guess, if you see those ads on TVs or social media or YouTube, that would probably one of my work, basically.
Which is like really so cool because, we're in that era where technology and social media, like, that's so big these days, right?
Yep,
and like,
exactly.
Terutama kan sekarang pas zaman COVID yang kita nggak bisa, keluar as freely as we used to, e-commerce and literally buying everything online is now the new trend, right? So, how do we best advertise products to a digital audience? Because sekarang kan juga kayak secara window shopping atau physically going to the toko-toko kan juga not done as often as before, right? So I think some people, they think, advertising online, itu tinggal kayak pakai, warna-warni kayak atau something attractive and it will do the job. But like, there's just so much elements involved in that, right? And I think we're definitely going to cover some amazing, like, A and I are just curious to ask you about that side of things. But before we dive into that, I'm quite curious to just backtrack to your uni days because kita ada banyak, our Kremés family, we're just sort of diverse. Most of us are, either Aussie Indos, or some of us are still in Indo or curious to study in Australia, or vice versa, like Australians interested in studying in Indonesia. I'm really curious just to sort of quickly touch on your experiences, coming to Perth, studying here for a bit, but then also coming back to Indo. Yeah, how was that adjustment process like, switching between the different cultures?
Okay, so to start off with, honestly speaking, I didn't plan to actually go to Perth. First of all, gitu kan ya. I actually planned to go to Melbourne, cuman with one thing to led to another, gitu kan. Actually, I decided to go to Perth, gitu kan. It was actually all sudden, jadi bener-bener mepet banget gitu. So, my acceptance letter kayak keluarnya tuh kalau nggak salah, if I remember correctly, it came out on a Friday, gitu kan ya. But gue belum 17 tahun, so I don't have the rights to actually tinggal sendiri. So I need to have a host parent gitu kan ya. Visa gue therefore nggak bisa keluar juga. So itu was actually very very deg-degan banget gitu kan ya, cut to cut. And honestly, gue udah kayak tipe yang kayak pasrah aja, honestly. I was terserah lah mau gimana gitu kan ya. Karena I need to pack, tapi deg-degan juga visa gue keluar atau kagak gitu kan. Karena there's still a chance gitu, 50-50 chance whether my visa will actually come out gitu kan ya. Jadi ya udah gitu kan ya. Honestly, it was actually all of the sudden gitu kan. Tiba-tiba came my birthday, I was 17 years old gitu kan ya. Bam, visa keluar, langsung beli tiket, langsung deh besokannya terbang ke Australia gitu kan ya, in Perth gitu. I have no idea what Australia looks like, the people, what they eat and everything. Jadi, it was me and my mom, aku ingat banget kita berdua gitu kan, land on Perth International Airport, and we were like, oh wow, something different, fresh air gitu kan, kayak oh wow. Honestly, that time, we don't have a place to stay. Karena it was too sudden gitu, dan kita juga nggak bisa book apapun gitu kan ya, maksudnya kan. Karena we were waiting for my visa gitu. So, thankfully, my dad has a friend of a friend, anaknya tuh di sana. They managed to sort of like find us a place to stay, renting gitu. Near my uni waktu itu, so it was me and my mom, we stayed there gitu kan ya, and then I didn't bring a lot of clothes gitu kan ya, jadi kayak most of them like luggage and some empty luggages gitu kan ya, karena kita pikir ya udahlah, I mean Perth ada shopping mall juga gitu kan, ada toko baju, toko segala macam, we'll just buy some of them there gitu kan ya maksudnya. And I also remember my mom waktu itu hari kedua nyampe gitu kan. I don't know, ada tempat ngeprint segala macam kan, and we need to print stuff for uni gitu kan ya. And then we go to Office Works, I think, yeah. Office Works, kita beli printer dan kita gotong-gotong from one bus to another bus on a rainy day. I remember that clearly. My hand was full of bruises gitu loh. And yeah, culture adjusting to that is actually definitely a very fun part of actually living in Australia gitu, karena it's very unique how Indonesian culture and Australia culture is very different, but yet we have a lot of similarities in that sense gitu kan ya maksudnya. What I actually can sense is that we are a very family oriented, both of our culture really prioritize family or family gitu ya. Di Indonesia kan, you know, family comes number one, and I think because I used to magang juga, I used to go internship in Sydney, I think gitu kan ya. And waktu itu sempat ada kejadian, one of my colleague gitu kan ya, she needs to pick up her baby, her kids from the daycare gitu, karena udah telat segala macam. Padahal dia ada kerjaan numpuk juga gitu, and then the bosnya bilang, no, it's okay, you go gitu kan, you go. I think we have a lot of people to actually take care of the work gitu kan, you go gitu. So I was like, oh wow gitu loh maksudnya. That's why I think Australia has become my second home and also my dream country to actually work in gitu ya, maksudnya in that sense gitu ya. And also culture-nya beda gitu ya, mungkin karena to start off with, Jakarta is a capital city of Indonesia to start off with gitu kan, and then moving to Perth is, I would say, kayak Jogja gitu kan ya, not so big gitu kan ya. I guess it's sort of like a countryside lah in a sense gitu kan ya, kebanding Sydney. So it's a big transition yang tadinya bener-bener day to day-nya hustle and bustle gitu kan ya, for me kayak oh, time moves so fast gitu, in a blink of an eye kayak you pass kayak an hour. Kayak di Perth itu tuh, you blink once tuh probably baru jalan setengah detik gitu loh maksudnya. Honestly, I dig those stuff gitu loh. I really miss Perth to the extent because life seems so slow to the extent that you are going to enjoy your life more gitu. Because that's what I feel when I actually moved to Perth. I get to do what I like, and I discover a lot of things that I actually like doing gitu. For instance, I didn't know I love cooking before I moved to Perth. Survival to the fittest, kayak you need to cook kan, segala macam, hidup sendiri gitu kan di Jakarta, I guess, because you're privileged with everything gitu kan. Mau kemana tinggal telepon Gojek so cepet, and it's cheap juga gitu kan. Mau makan tinggal you have mates juga yang actually help to clean the house gitu kan, segala macam. Di Perth definitely nggak ada begituan semua. You're on your own basically gitu kan. And throughout that understanding different culture and adapting to different things juga gitu kan ya. Jadi gue ngerasa kayak, oh, I discover new things. I love cooking gitu loh. Who wouldn't know gitu loh maksudnya. I love cooking, discovering. Jadi ujung-ujungnya tuh waktu itu pas udah sempat ngekos, kan sempat ada pindah berapa kali kosnya kan. And I moved with this Indonesian students juga gitu. And I was actually quite active in the church in Perth juga. Jadi suka masak buat satu komunitas gitu. Waktu itu we made 100 dumplings together midnight gitu kan ya. And also with my Singapore housemates dulu, sebelum I moved in with the Indonesian housemates, jam 3 malam gitu kan ya. Kita gak bisa tidur gitu. And then she knocked on my door. Hen, you awake? And I was like, yeah, I'm awake. Why? You wanna make pao? I was like, wait, pao? As in bak pao? Yeah. I was like, okay, like right this time? Yeah. I was like, okay, why? Because I just can't sleep and you can't sleep. Let's be productive and let's make pao. And we ended up making like 5 bak pao or paos.
Oh, that's good. That's good that you had to, you got to, firstly slow down, because I think, terutama with mental health and stuff, slowing down is probably really important, yeah. But also just having that opportunity untuk bisa assimilate to this culture with other people. I think like the fact that obviously you were alone in this new area, tapi that you were able to firstly, discover the ups and downs with your mom gitu, but then obviously together with your other roommates, and then sort of, experience both the highs and lows together. I think that's what makes it really nice. But no, that's really good that, you had that experience. You had to, you could cherish that, because obviously moving to a new country, let alone a new culture where you don't know anyone in that new place, it is very daunting, and it's always not going to be, sunshines and rainbows kan. Kayak selalu pasti akan ada highs and lows, tapi it's great to hear that, you're still so happy-go-lucky about it, dan kayak, walaupun ya mungkin susah pertama kali kan, awal-awalnya susah pasti, tapi ya, you're still able to get some positivity out of it, which is good, yeah. But how about when you went back then? Like, you're so used to living in the Australian culture, you maybe, adopt a little bit of the accent in your English and everything like that, and then you're kind of used to having fish and chips, or, going to freer markets or something most weekends. When you went back to Indo, how was that shift? Like, was it easy to go back to Indo for good because you've lived there for a considerable amount of your life so far, or was it still a bit of difficulty?
I think some people may argue oh, you just stayed there for 3 years, but honestly, 3 years made a whole different impact to you, to yourself, especially if you consider a certain place or a certain country as a home away from home. I would actually call that Australia a home away from home. Jadi somehow all the culture sort of embodies in me in a sense gitu ya, in such a short period of time gitu kan. Jadi waktu balik Indo tuh I was so confused juga gitu loh, maksudnya kayak, oh my god, why is time moving so fast gitu kan ya. And then I did drive in Perth juga, so I got also confused on how to drive back in Indonesia gitu kan, karena di Jakarta itu kan it's full of traffic gitu kan. Sebenarnya itu bener-bener kayak, it's like Grand Theft Auto, you're driving like crazily gitu in a sense gitu kan ya. Dan di Australia kan memang they have rules at certain things gitu, and I drive considerably amount of time gitu, jadi I get used to about the ways, the traffic in there gitu kan, especially kalau roundabout gitu kan. Kalau di Jakarta ya udah masuk aja gitu kan. Kalau di sini you have to wait and you have to look to your right, I think gitu kan ya. And then wait the car to pass and then you can come in gitu loh. And also nggak cuman traffic, nggak cuman live gitu ya maksudnya, tapi juga kerja gitu. Cause I did intern twice, in Sydney once and another one in LA. And obviously having that working experience culture-wise, having a Western culture working experience itu definitely beda when it comes to Asian working experience juga gitu kan. Karena sekarang pun I'm working in a multinational advertising agency, so I've also sometimes dealt with global clients and regional clients gitu kan. Jadi cara ngomong dan cara itu juga beda gitu. I remember clearly waktu itu pertama kali gue balik Indo, I started working in this small local branding agency. Kan kalau misalkan kerja di luar itu kan you don't sometimes used to call them Pak, Bu, or whatever gitu kan ya. You just call them by their name gitu kan ya. Because it's a chill thing. Kayak mau levelannya CEO lah, mau levelannya director atau apa, you just call them by the name gitu kan ya misalkan. Pas balik ke Indo gitu kan ya, ya udah, me being me with a bit of Aussie going on gitu. Ada bos gede gitu datang ngobrol-ngobrol. Oh iya, makasih ya. Let's say namanya Budi. Makasih ya Bud. Terus literally the room went all silent. And then kayak bawahannya dia tuh ngeliatin ke gua semua. I was like, ya namanya Budi kan? Gitu. Terus, and then nobody can negor gitu kan. I was like, okay, I felt like I didn't say something offensive or whatever gitu. I was being nice gitu kan. Pas keluar, gue tuh mikir gitu kan ya, what did I do wrong gitu kan ya. I just realized lupa manggil Mas Budi gitu. So I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Cuman I guess sekarang, even though sekarang I've been working for almost 5 to 6 years gitu kan ya, especially sekarang I've moved from a local to an international, a multinational agency gitu kan, I still berpegang keras gitu kan ya pada I'm not gonna call people by mas or mbak unless mereka memang biasa dipanggilnya itu gitu kan. Karena for me it's actually biar lebih comfortable, lebih nyaman as a because we're working gitu kan ya. Memang understand there's superiority segala macam, cuman to get it more comfortable and nyaman gitu kan ya. Jadi so ideas easily flowing gitu loh maksudnya. Gitu sih. So sometimes I still call by their names gitu kan to some certain level gitu.
Itu interesting banget sih, soalnya kayak like kita sering ngomong tentang adjustment, tapi like kalau misalnya ngomong kayak gua sama Teh kan our experience is from like 10 years ago, pertama kali kita datang ke Australia banget, yang masih kayak SD atau SMP di sekolahnya gimana gitu kan. But like coming from your experience is actually quite interesting, kayak udah level dimana kita udah basically an adult in a sense, dan like already have like mindset, have like culture, and have like a little bit more of like a life gitu kan. Kayak di Indo tuh udah punya hidup, udah punya temen tuh siapa, gaya bicara, gaya itu, terus datang ke negara yang baru banget, walaupun kita nonton di TV but it's actually different than what we see in the TV, right?
Exactly.
Gitu. Dan but I actually can sympathize with that, karena soalnya like a part of me still like really really Asian rooted, karena kalau dulu ke gereja tuh kan kayak tante om udah biasa gitu kan. Tapi kalau misalnya sekarang like in the office, I was like it's weird for me to call you just your name because you are like the PM gitu kan. Jadi aku like I always call people sir, and then they were like, oh well, you don't have to call me that, I'm just Simon or whatever gitu kan. Terus kayak ada pernah kebalik gitu, kayak mereka tuh kayak ada satu namanya dia punya nama panggilan Sharpie, terus aku selalu panggil kok Mr. Sharp gitu kan. Terus kayak no, just call me Sharpie like everybody else, or call me by first name, I'm not that
Exactly.
old. But like bear in mind he's already like 50, 60 something, jadi kan di otak gue tuh kayak you're the same age as my dad gitu kan, like I need to show respect gitu kan. Tapi like I definitely get where you're coming from, and I feel like that's what's cool about Indo sih. Mungkin kayak kalau dari lihat-lihat dari teman-teman gue tuh kayak banyak banget perusahaan di sana yang udah lebih all age kind of thing gitu kan. Jadi satu grup punya lebih banyak umur dan lebih banyak juga orang-orang muda yang ada di grup gitu kan. Dan again like as you mentioned, so you work in marketing, and I actually find that really really interesting. Kenapa? Karena kayak with me and T, we're both engineering, it's all just like numbers and Excel. Terus Excel kita yang boring gitu, yang kayak black and white gitu. Mungkin kalau T lebih colorful ya, karena she used to work at the like consulting firm, and like you need to present it to the client with PowerPoints and all that gitu. Tapi kalau T datang ke meja gue tuh kayak everything is just literally Excel, Word document, and then like the only color I see is red because it's not meant to be. Like literally. Dan tapi kalau misalnya mau ngomong lebih nih, Hen, marketing tuh apa aja sih, poin-poin apa aja sih yang kayak yang you have to pay attention to? Kalau ke gue kan lebih kayak just as long as the facts is correct and the calculation is correct, that's it. Like that's good enough, right? You can send it through an email, you can send it through like anything else, but those things need to be correct. Tapi kan kalau marketing mungkin lebih punya banyak banget aspek yang harus diperhatiin, especially now Indo itu terkenal banget sama marketingnya, dan kayak Indo tuh keren banget sih. Kayak kalau udah masalah bisnis number one deh. Kayak udah jagonya, mau dari Shopee advertisement to like Instagram to like all those like social media platform, even TikTok. Tapi at the same time like even just slight difference in like all the banners. Kayak Indo kan banyak banget yang kayak literally like the Times Square of Indonesia gitu kan, kayak banyak banget advertisement dimanapun, dan gimana cara bisa catch your eye even though there's like literally the same thing next to you gitu kan. Do you have any insights of like what do you look for, or like what is it the steps that you first take when you get like a project?
Okay, so to start off with, I think you got marketing is such a huge thing gitu ya, maksudnya sangat gede banget dan sangat luas sebenarnya gitu kan ya. Sometimes even dulu waktu di uni I was majoring in marketing gitu kan. That was my first major, that was my focus gitu kan. Di sana pun juga dibagi jadi dua kaki gitu kan ya. Are you in the route on new product development, atau you're on the route of advertising sebenarnya kayak gitu.
Oh wow, yeah.
Karena sebenarnya beda dua hal itu. It might look similar, they are working hand in hand sebenarnya gitu kan ya. Cuman yang satu itu you're raising a baby, kan you're creating a new product, so heavy on research and development segala macam. Karena ujung-ujungnya when actually can say adalah marketing itu adalah gimana caranya lo itu bisa creating needs gitu loh maksudnya. Ya kan, creating needs dari orang itu nggak ada needs tapi bisa pengen beli barang lo gitu kan ya sebenarnya. Nah kalau marketing itu benar-benar gede karena jadi bikin produk baru sampai nge-advertise itu sampai orang itu pengen beli gitu kan ya. Now where I'm working at the moment, I'm focusing on advertising, so communication gitu ya. Gimana caranya comes to the people's mind gitu kan ya maksudnya. Kalau memang kita ngomongin soal new product development, it's more on the client side biasanya. Jadi kayak I've been working with a lot of big clients kayak Danone, Unilever, BMW, Google gitu kan ya, even Sampurna gitu kan ya maksudnya kan. Jadi itu biasanya kerjaannya mereka untuk ngegodok si babynya itu kayak gimana. And dia biasanya ngelihat kita sebagai their partners gitu ya, in terms of how we able to actually, kalau rawly I could say adalah gimana cara lo jualin produk gue gitu loh supaya orang tuh bisa beli gitu loh, kasarnya kayak gitu. So that's what I do gitu kan maksudnya kan gitu. So when it actually say kayak Indonesia is such I would say kayak I mean we are the fourth biggest population in the world gitu kan ya. Our consumerism is bisa dibilang non-stop gitu ya, dari hal apapun gitu kan ya, bisa dibilang non-stop gitu jadi namanya gitu kan. Jadi I guess tiap produk sendiri tuh it depends on how you see sebenarnya, depends on the product itself gitu kan, gimana cara dia cocok dengan audiensnya dan cara komunikasinya gitu kan. Karena let's say if you're handling female shampoo gitu ya maksudnya kan, it won't be the same way you communicate dengan kamu megang rokok ya kan. Karena secara target audiensnya juga beda. Nah, sampo cewek aja, they have a lot of segmentation. Nggak usah jauh-jauh. Misalkan, Tresemme. Tresemme is a female, it's a women shampoo gitu kan ya. Sama Clear shampoo. Itu juga shampoo cewek sebenarnya gitu. Tapi how they actually communicate itu beda. Karena mereka tuh grasping a different target audience sebenarnya gitu loh. Kayak misalkan bisa dibilang Tresemme itu, kalau misalnya dilihat Tresemme, I think Tresemme juga ada ya di Australia gitu kan ya.
Ada.
Nah, exactly. Yang merah ya, kalau nggak salah kan.
Iya,
Keratin smooth. Ya kan? Mereka tuh are targeted for, women like you guys gitu kan ya. Cewek-cewek yang baru berkarir gitu kan ya. It seems like I'm very confident about myself gitu kan ya. Tapi kayak lebih agak have a feminine side to it gitu. Tapi when we're actually talking about Clear gitu kan ya, dia benar-benar fully talking about confidence gitu kan ya, maksudnya how women are confident to speak up, to talk about themselves gitu kan ya. And this is my style and I own it, kayak gitu loh. Dan itu mengambil dua tipe segmen yang berbeda gitu kan ya, gitu.
Enggak sih, yang gue merasa keren banget sih, maksudnya kayak jujur aja, karena kalau misalnya gimana ya, like me and T didn't realize, kadang kan kita biasa dengar kayak which engineering are you gitu kan, kita udah tahu pas itu ada kayak branch out gitu kan, tapi kita nggak realize kalau basically every single like career it comes from a branch out thing as well gitu, kayak ternyata marketing juga ada 2 segala macam. Tapi kalau misalnya buananya ini are you do advertisement in everything or is it just like more of a gimana ya, kayak lebih kan advertisement ada video advertisement yang kita nonton di YouTube and stuff like that, and there's like I don't know what you call it, print advertisement gitu kan, yang kayak what you see only. Do you do both or do you focus on one thing?
Okay, so basically, because we're an advertising agency, jadi tuh biasanya kalau misalnya dibilang T, I mean I think this is sort of like relatable mungkin buat T gitu ya, karena kita tuh advertising agency sebenarnya tuh mirip-mirip kayak consulting gitu. Tapi bedanya adalah gitu kan ya, mungkin we solve business problems through creativity and creative output jadinya kayak gitu. Dan mostly memang langsung jualan sebenarnya kayak gitu. Tapi mungkin kalau T as a consultant, dia tuh lebih broad. Mungkin gak necessarily untuk gimana caranya launching produk atau gimana. Itu mungkin ada gitu loh, part of consulting days gitu kan ya maksudnya kan. Tapi juga ada tentang misalkan HR lah, management lah, segala macam. Jadi lebih broad gitu kan ya sebenarnya gitu loh. That's why, makanya in my opinion, I think that's why I fell in love with advertising gitu loh. Karena I still do get a bit about business problems as well. Tapi cara solvingnya tuh through creativity, jadinya kayak gitu. To answer your questions about that, kayak what do I do? What do I do specifically on video, on print, or whatever, apa itu gitu sebenarnya. Sebenarnya I do all gitu loh. Jadi we offer a 360 marketing plan. Jadi 360 ya, namanya juga 360 ya. Jadi itu benar-benar semua from ATL, digital to BTL. So ATL is above the line. BTL means below the line, and then digital ya, I mean digital gitu. Above the line itu biasanya yang memang lebih ke mass ya, mass consumer, mass audience gitu loh. Biasanya buat ningkatin awareness gitu. Tapi kalau misalkan, jadi itu biasanya tuh outputnya adalah TV commercial gitu kan ya maksudnya. Terus billboard. Nah itu biasanya ATL. Nah BTL itu namanya below the line. Biasanya tuh lebih niche gitu, lebih focus oriented gitu loh jadinya. Jadi kalau misalkan itu biasanya tuh lebih fokus ke misalkan contoh POSM, point of sales gitu loh. Jadi kalau di Indomaret tuh ada yang gelantungan. Nah, itu tuh biasanya BTL turunan gitu. Atau even on ground. Kalau misalkan di Indonesia ya, it's very popular dengan yang namanya kalau ke mall di tengah-tengah, ada pameran brand-brand apa. Nah, itu namanya below the line gitu. Jadi, reaching consumers specifically gitu loh. So, if you ask me, Hen, lu udah ngerjain yang mana aja sih di antara semua yang tadi lu ceritain gitu loh. I mean, I've done all. ATL is sort of my day-to-day bread gitu. That's my bread and butter gitu. I make TV commercial gitu. Digital is also my bread and butter as well. Jadi that udah lumayan, dia sering lah gitu. Even on ground sebenarnya juga pernah gitu. Waktu itu gue pernah launching produk gitu ya. And we had a tour across Java for almost 10 cities gitu loh. Dan kita bawa gitu loh maksudnya. And it was my first time honestly. Dan bos gue nggak ikut. And you know what? You know what they say? Just keep swimming, keep swimming. Ya, just keep on swimming aja.
To the deep end ya, beneran literally throw to the deep end.
Jadi ya go for it aja.
Kalau kayak gitu tuh, maksudnya kalau ini jujur nanya gitu, maksudnya kayak, so you stop with the design or you go into like kayak kalau misalnya TV commercial for example, kita ambil TV commercial gitu, do you stop at the design like kita pengennya ceritanya gini nih, ada orang gini like the script itself, atau you also be a part of the details like artisnya nggak yang itu yang ini aja, storyline-nya gini, orangnya ceweknya tuh harus yang rambutnya gini, cowoknya harus yang kayak gini, mobilnya yang ini gitu like are you go to like the detailed or will you like you're more of like an idea person and then like someone else will take over the next step, like kalau marketing tuh stop di mana sih gitu sebagai marketing as a role gitu.
So sebenarnya if you ask me what do I do, sebenarnya kalau ditanya gua tuh handle semua gitu. Tadi as I mentioned previously, advertising is quite similar to consulting sebenarnya gitu kan ya. Cuman bedanya tadi kan dibilang kan kalau consulting it's much bigger gitu kan, kayak problemnya tuh nggak cuma di communication atau di marketing, tapi juga ada finance gitu kan, management, HR segala macam gitu kan. Just goes on around business. Tapi kalau advertising itu sebenarnya kita tuh juga bikin strateginya. Makanya tuh sebelum come up with that storyline gitu kan ya. Karena kan sebenarnya marketing is about understanding your audience gitu kan ya. Lu mau jualan, lu juga mesti tahu dong gitu kan kasarnya kan. What's their needs gitu, what's their sorrows, what their problem, what do they need gitu loh. Apa yang mereka bisa dapat dari produk kita untuk solve their problem. Kasarkan kayak gitu ya. Nah, therefore semua creative output kita tuh harus bisa ngejawab itu. Ya kan? Jadi makanya strategi awal tuh juga kita godok tuh sebenarnya gitu. So we do a lot of research juga, strategy part. Kayak misalkan contoh, gue mau launching jus sirsak gitu kan ya. Nah, jus sirsak itu tuh apa? What's their reason to believe gitu kan ya mas ya? What actually yang bisa diunggulin gitu loh dari si jus sirsak ini? Oh, ternyata jus sirsak itu mengandung vitamin C tinggi, bla 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 dan lain sebagainya. Oh, pas dong. Lagi COVID, orang kan butuh jaga daya tahan tubuh, bener nggak? And one of the ways buat jaga daya tahan tubuh dengan apa? High vitamin consumption, especially vitamin C, misalkan kayak gitu, ya kan? Oh, that makes sense gitu loh maksudnya. So that makes it a perfect time to actually launch this product gitu kan ya. Oke, udah kayak gitu kan, udah strategi udah digodok gitu kan. So what's the one-liner gitu? What's the one-liner thing yang actually bisa menjadi umbrella campaign-nya nih buat si jus sirsak ini gitu kan. Yang memang makin dekat dengan ke hati konsumen kita. Dan juga relate juga ke produknya juga gitu, ke brandnya juga gitu kan. Itu mesti dipikirin. And then baru itu tuh keluar tuh idenya. Karena menurut gua, kalau bikin cerita, you can do it bisa instantly sebenarnya kayak gitu. Cuman yang PR-nya adalah untuk masukin that needs to create that needs to our audience sendiri gitu. Nah udah gitu, and then if you ask me sampai detail juga tuh milihin artisnya nggak? Iya, itu kita juga mikirin dong. Rambutnya panjang pendek, kita pikirin juga. Bajunya polkadot atau lurus juga mikirin. Even segala macem lagu lah apa itu juga kita mesti pikirin. Pokoknya brand team ngelihat kita, gue pengen launching produk si Jus Sirsak ini, gimana caranya? Gue punya duit sekian, lo aturin gitu kan. Gue pengen deliverablesnya, lo bikinin gue iklan TV, iklan digital, poster segala macem, dah gitu loh. Pokoknya lu consult sama gue terima jadi gitu. Jadi biasanya kita tuh punya partners lagi gitu, production house yang dia biasa syuting gitu.
Ini kayak kalau I really like using this analogi karena kayak masuk kemanapun gitu. Ini kayak contoh kayak kita lagi bikin rumah ya. Jadi kayak ownernya itu brandnya, terus lu Ideal Homes-nya atau siapanya gitu yang udah ini aja. Terus like you're the one that have to get the people who put the bricks, who put the roof, who put the blah blah blah. Itu dari sisi lu. Tapi that's really really cool. Terus nanti kayak mungkin you just ask the brand for advice. Kayak misalnya if we're doing this is okay or not? Good, okay. And you go on and on. Now that's really kalau gitu tersendiri yang also we want to know. Gini misalnya kayak maybe our listeners also want to be part of this marketing career, because jujur aja gue like I'm so interested in it. I'm like, oh my god, maybe I'm in the wrong industry. This sounds more fun than like breaking rocks into smaller rocks. Tapi kalau misalnya mau, ada tips gak Hen? Kayak misalnya kalau misalnya kalian mau ini tuh bisa mulai mengasah dari I don't know, maybe like volunteering a lot more, atau misalnya ada kayak soft skill apa yang perlu lu pelajarin before biar kayak like you develop these skills that you have now. Atau like any tips and tricks buat yang kayak baru mulai, atau misalnya mereka, cause I don't know, do you do resume or do you do portfolios, like what is kalau dari kita kan lebih ke apa, our marks in uni and our resume and our experience kan, kayak literally aku udah pernah magang di sini gitu. Whether or then, and then our thing is more like aku udah pernah use this, not application but like this program or like this solution devices or like this drawing device gitu. Itu lebih ke kita kan. Kalau dari lu untuk bisa di posisi lu sekarang, what is the tips and tricks that you can give to anyone who want to be one and like starting?
Okay, to start off with, pertama I think a lot of people needs to understand gitu ya, maksudnya kan. Do you want to be at the client side, the brand team side, atau an advertiser atau agency side? Itu yang mesti mereka tahu dulu gitu, karena dua-duanya itu beda sebenarnya. I'm not saying bahwa being in the brand side it's a good thing, just being in the agency is a bad thing gitu loh. Enggak gitu loh. It has its own ups and downs. Jadi pertama you need to do adalah tahu dulu nih, lu mau brand side atau lu mau agency side gitu. I think kalau mau dibahas ups and down-nya, I think that requires another session kali ya, maksudnya, karena itu bakal panjang sendiri gitu. And also, I think what's the magic and the good thing about working in marketing or advertising is that you don't need to be specific background or knowledge gitu. Memang sebenarnya memang lebih baik kalau memang ambil degree marketing gitu kan ya. So you get the basic gitu kan. Cuman I've been working in an advertising agency for almost going 6 years, I think gitu kan ya. And I've met people from engineering background, from economics background, from math background. Jadi gue kayak, I'm sorry, kayak what are you doing here gitu loh, maksudnya. Shouldn't you be counting numbers or like building houses and stuff like that instead of like here gitu? Karena again balik lagi gitu kan, about finding what you truly like gitu ya. Karena
benar-benar.
It depends. Your uni degrees or uni result doesn't determine on what you should do. That's my opinion ya, gitu ya maksudnya kan. Jadi I think what you really need to find out is what you really like gitu kan. Jadi makanya pas finding bahwa kayak it's such a diverse thing gitu ya, advertising industry gitu. Jadi what actually triggers me gitu loh. So I think a good tip for you guys who actually really want to deep dive to advertising or any marketing adalah rajin-rajin keeping up with the trend. So I think that's really important. Jadi as simple as kalau memang bingung ya, keeping up the trend tuh gimana ya caranya gitu kan. I don't have access to journals and stuff like that gitu kan. As simple as checking your Instagram every day. Follow influential accounts gitu kan ya, maksudnya. Memang giving out different things gitu loh. Memang beneficial things gitu kan. Misalkan reading updates about trends. kan suka dapat tuh trends apa namanya yearly trends about mothers and everything. Nah itu dibaca gitu loh maksudnya. And I think what's really fun about working in advertising is that because it felt like uni gitu loh. Makanya kan juga bilang kayak kenapa sih mirip kayak consulting gitu? Karena it's like a case study jadinya. Setiap business problems yang dikasih kita tuh solve dengan case study jadinya gitu loh. Gimana caranya dengan introduce nih produk misalnya gitu, atau gimana caranya kita ngebantai these competitors gitu ya, gimana gitu. Gimana kita caranya stand out gitu jadinya. It's so fun gitu karena I always have a pen and a paper gitu kan, dan gue tuh selalu gue jawabannya satu segala macam. Oh, problem this, audience-nya ini, solutionnya apa, what's the one-liner thing, what does the brand stands for, what's the benefit segala macam gitu.
Well, that's cool, isn't it? Because that's like the one job where you're actually paid and required to be on social media for like, as you know, for like almost 24/7, because that's how, you know, not only do you need to, you know, be familiar with the current events, tapi kan juga harus be familiar with how those news are presented gitu kan, kayak what's the most attractive way these days to you know, target your audience, or how do you sort of, you know, get them interested, what kind of platform or what kind of app will they get all these news from the most. Well, I think that's just so curious, like so interesting for me, and I'm sure with A as well, because it's a sector that with us for our jobs we don't touch on as much. I guess if we do need to market or if we need to communicate something, it's just kayak secara tradisional public speaking gitu, atau presentasi pakai PowerPoint kayak atau apa kan, tapi nggak sedalam harus pikir marketingnya in that kind of sense. So that's really cool.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop you guys juga sebenarnya as an engineer.
True, right? It's like you sort of saying, you know, it's this hybridization, or like, you know,
Exactly.
just mixing these different disciplines together could actually create an even better or more enhanced you know, skill set for you gitu. So
Makanya if I make cut sebenarnya sorry T gitu kan ya, banyak banget yang misalkan gua S1-nya itu specialize in certain area, misalkan engineering gitu kan ya, terus misalkan baking atau apa, jadi yang benar-benar hard skill gitu kan bisa dibilang. Nah tapi S2-nya mereka ambil marketing gitu, jadi secara secara fokus kerjaannya gitu kan, jadi kasarnya gue ada skill engineering gitu kan ya, and I know how to market myself, atau I can market my skill gitu loh, jadi holistic sebenarnya.
that's
gitu.
so cool. Well, thank you so much, Hendi, for your time. I think the fact that you showcase from a life cycle perspective, you know, like we were able to, in this sort of, you know, one conversation, touch on your decision to study abroad, and you didn't even, you know, you were able to like still overcome the fact that coming to Perth was not your plan A gitu, like, you know, like, and how you overcame that, how you created a plan B, which ended up being a really great experience because you came to Perth and you met us, obviously. But, you know, and then coming out of that, and then, you know, having that study experience abroad, tapi harus, you know, when you came back home to work, how you adjusted to that, but not only adjust, but also thrive back in your environment. Because even though kayak buat gue ya, kayak kalau gue balik ke Jakarta istilahnya ya, like, yes, that's my birth home, but I would still struggle adapting because, you know, there's just so much things that I'm used to that is so different, you know, lifestyle, mindset, you know, and even like, you know, what language you're speaking, right? So I think it's so cool to see that you managed to transition back and forth pretty well, and then you're able to sort of give us some really great tips on marketing and advertising, and now you just make me really want to have jusir sak. So
Yeah.
I'm probably at the end of this call gonna figure out how to source one.
I don't think we
in
can.
Perth.
I don't think we
Mana?
can.
I think you guys have in like Subi those Asian groceries, you know, I'm pretty sure.
It's
Like,
quite a trek, isn't it? It's alright. She's in the city. T can make it. T can make it. She's in the city
All right,
now.
exactly. Or there's one in Cannington, honestly, East Cannington.
Oh my god, you remember still?
I do remember. What's that mall? Oh my god, yang di East Cannington deket
Carousel.
Carousel, yeah. Ada Carousel tuh, ada this Asian store there. I think it's one of the biggest one. Itu kayak komplit di sana. I think
Ada
if you want to
soccer.
go there to do your... Yes, exactly. I think so. But yeah, I mean, to sort of like say all in all gitu ya, I think wherever you go, I think balik lagi on you need to look on what you're looking for in life gitu ya maksudnya kan. Karena as I did mention about how Perth wasn't my plan A, honestly. It was actually my plan B or C gitu kan ya maksudnya. And honestly, it wasn't my plan juga gitu kan actually to be able to go back to Indo sebenarnya gitu. But you know what? Things go unplanned gitu ya maksudnya. And it's normal gitu kan ya untuk punya hal kayak gitu loh. But what and those things are uncontrollable in that sense gitu ya. It depends on how you react to those things gitu. Because you are the only one can control things gitu kan ya maksudnya kan. And because you can control yourself, you can control the output juga on how you do things juga. So guys, don't be afraid to do things gitu ya maksudnya. Just go for it, honestly. Always remember what's your sole purpose, itu aja.
Nice. Look at that. Some golden wisdom. We might have you back, part 2, because like we could keep talking forever, honestly.
Exactly. We'll have you back not for like this, but we'll just have like a proper like curhat episode or like, one of our section or the food, Kremés table, like whatever you like to cook, whatever you like to eat, let's talk about it. No, seriously, thank you so much for being our guest. Like it means a lot. Like we know our podcast is like quite small and like but we have such an amazing people in our life, and yeah, thank you so much for being our guest. And if you guys have any more things you want to ask Hendi, or you want to ask about the marketing and advertising world, or just wisdom world, let us know in the comments and let us give us a DM and stuff like that, and we'll try to book a time with Hendi again so we can talk more about life. But yeah,
Yes. Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
thank you for listening.
Until next
No
time.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you for listening.
Jangan lupa like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with your friends.
I'd love to hear from you. Please reach out with your comments, stories, and even questions on what we should talk about. See you in the next episode.
Bye. Dah.